From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
New coronavirus restrictions coming to Marion County now at 4:30. What you need to know about the changes.
Plus, with the new public health order comes new requirements for Marion County schools, how parents are preparing for the changes, and a look at what help is out there for you and your students.
And preparing for winter in this pandemic, working for you this morning, how an organization is helping kids stay warm and safe. It is 4:30 here on our Friday morning. Thanks for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey, and I have two friends in the studio who normally aren't with me in the mornings, but Nicole, Kyle, it is great to have you guys here today.
Yeah, Lauren, weekend team joining Good Morning Indiana on this Friday. Kyle, as you head out the door, you definitely need that heavier jacket this morning, I'd say. Be prepared to turn the heat on in the car.
Yeah, I did that. Needed the seat warmer as well. All that good stuff here now as it's continuing to feel more November-like out there. And we do have one weather system that's passing through. It's bringing in some light rain showers for extreme northern areas. So we're talking about north of a line from around Lafayette to Hartford City this morning. Does include around Logansport into Peru. Brief shower, that's going to be about it, and then those clouds will actually move out of here pretty quickly. Temperature-wise, they range here from around 34 in Greencastle, 41 for us in Indianapolis, and 42 in Martinsville, as well as Muncie. 37 for you right now in Tipton. As kids are heading off to the bus stop, yeah, gonna need that coat this morning. We'll have temperatures around 40, but outlying areas I think will be into the middle 30s here. Sunshine heading home and 46. A little bit of an afternoon breeze for us. We will see those winds out of the northwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour, but even windier for the weekend. We'll detail that in a few minutes.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads this Friday morning. Nice and early here up on the northwest side, I-465, our camera at West 71st Street. Traffic is quiet. Everything's traveling up to speed. I'm not monitoring any crashes or major delays around the metro area, so that's great news for your Friday morning commute. It is 4:32, another record-setting day for new coronavirus cases in Indiana. For the first time Thursday, the state topping 6,000 reports in one day.
And as cases continue to rise across the state, here in Marion County, new restrictions are going into effect to help stop the spread of COVID-19. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett announced the changes just one day after Governor Eric Holcomb announced he's taking the state out of stage 5 and implementing new restrictions based on the positivity rates across Indiana. Most of our 92 counties are in the orange or red zone, and that means there is a moderate to high risk of community spread. Marion County, which never made it to stage 5, is in the orange with a 7-day positivity rate of nearly 10%. Mayor Hogsett said making an effort to slow the spread of the virus in public places is as important as taking precautions at private and smaller family events.
Please recognize that this virus doesn't care if you are in public or not. And social gatherings that you have at your house are just as dangerous. I want to be blunt. There is no responsible way to pretend that this Thanksgiving and the ensuing holiday season that follows will in any way be normal.
Here's a snapshot of some of the changes that will take effect in Marion County beginning on Monday. Bars and entertainment venues will be capped at 25% indoor capacity, restaurants at 50%, large gatherings will be capped at 25% capacity, and religious events at 75%. And gyms and fitness studios will be capped at 25% capacity. We have the full list of restrictions right now at WRTV.com.
And one of the biggest changes here in Marion County, all schools must go virtual by November 30th. This includes all public and private K-12 schools. The public order runs through January 15th. Some schools have already announced plans to go virtual as early as next Monday, and change is already forcing many parents to scramble. Jessica Moore says for her family, it's all about finding balance and trying to still maintain some sense of normalcy.
Whether it's through employment, through health care, access to food, childcare, because there are a whole lot of folks who are essential workers who are still having to go to work every day and then trying to figure out what you're going to do with your kids. I think regardless of what the school's decision is, the ultimate decision is going to be what's best for our family.
Well, we do have a list of when all Marion County schools will make the switch to virtual learning up now at WRTV.com. And for parents and families that need assistance with virtual learning, there are currently 3 community learning sites open across Indianapolis. You can bring students there for a day of free supervised e-learning. Those sites were recently extended through December 17th. You can find the locations and register at communitylearningsites.org. Again, you can find your district's plan for virtual learning right now by going to WRTV.com.
One thing that is not changing under the Marion County Public Health Order is church capacity. Right now they can be at 75% and it's expected to stay that way. We spoke to Pastor James Jackson, a Fervent Prayer Church. He says COVID-19 precautions like temperature checks, social distancing markers, and extra sanitation efforts are already in place at his church. But Pastor Jackson says many of his parishioners are still choosing to attend virtually, and that could be the case for a while.
Things were already changing for a lot of people, and I think that COVID-19 accelerated that change. I think we're seeing a new generation of godly people or churchgoers who may not always arrive at the public worship space, but they're still worshiping, and the worship is in their hands.
Pastor Jackson says if the demand for in-person services increases, he will add additional service times to make sure that they never have to turn anyone away.
At 4:36, as the surge of coronavirus cases continues, WRTV is working for you, keeping a close eye on hospitals and checking in with staff. The IU Health roughly has 200 nurses that are either sick with COVID-19 or under quarantine because of exposure. Doctors there tell us that the shortage is creating a strain. All IU Health medical centers across the state are caring for more COVID patients. It's a different picture from the spring when the majority of cases were being handled by hospitals in Indianapolis metro area. Right now, there are 278 COVID positive patients at IU medical facilities. But the news of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine is bringing some hope, and hospitals are already making plans on how the doses will be stored and distributed once they arrive here.
As you know, we're expecting the first vaccine to be the vaccine from Pfizer, so it needs -70 Celsius storage. The state has developed a very nice comprehensive plan for vaccine placement and distribution, and a lot of it will be coming directly to around 50 hospitals. But there are 5 sort of pre-placement large hospitals scattered around the state, and our IU Health Methodist Hospital is one of those. So at some point, we don't really know when, we'll get a shipment that we need to keep in ultra cold storage.
Well, the FedEx hub here in Indianapolis is a company's second largest express hub, recently installing ultra cold freezers to help ship COVID-19 vaccines once they're available. The shipping giant says it's been planning for months to handle the transportation of the vaccines as they're approved for use.
The COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way we do life, but it's not stopping grassroots organization Creating a New Society from hosting their 6th annual coat drive. For Nicole Glass and her team, there was no question about whether the event would happen because the pandemic has left many families with less money at a time when most would be preparing for winter. The group plans to give away more than 400 coats, and even though the event will look different this year with COVID-19 safety measures in place, Glass says keeping a child warm should never be something families have to worry about.
I'll say it again and again, no parent should have to have that worry keeping their child warm. No child should be on their way to school and have to worry about the frigid temperatures.
The coat drive is this Saturday starting at 9 a.m. at the John Bonner Center. Coats are free for kids 17 and under. Children who receive coats must be present. Any family that arrives can also take home free food. It is all while supplies last.
State lawmakers are responding to election problems uncovered by WRTV Investigates. Straight ahead, we find out how they plan to address the issues uncovered by WRTV Investigates.
Despite allegations of voter fraud from President Trump and other Republican lawmakers, U.S. election officials say this year's election was the most secure ever. We'll have more on their findings coming up. Kyle.
And it's 4:39 here on your Friday morning, getting oh so close to the weekend, and it is going to be cooler than last weekend. We'll have high temperatures in the 50s, also some showers, and it's going to be a little windy. A lot to talk about in your full forecast. That's coming up in just a few minutes. You're watching Good Morning Indiana.
Welcome back. The time right now is 4:42. Developing this morning, a helicopter belonging to an international peacekeeping force has crashed in Egypt. 5 U.S. soldiers are among the 7 killed in the crash. A defense official confirmed the information on Thursday, Right now, the crash is being called an accident, thought to be caused by mechanical issues, and officials there say there's no evidence of foul play. Officials are withholding the names of those involved pending notification of family members. The coalition force is made up of more than 1,000 personnel from 13 countries, including about 450 Americans.
Tomorrow, attorneys for the family of Drajon Reed will speak for the first time since the grand jury decision was announced. On Tuesday, Special Prosecutor Rosemary Corey said the grand jury declined to indict Officer DeJour Mercer. He is the IMPD officer who shot and killed Reed after a high-speed vehicle pursuit in a foot chase back in May. Saturday's press conference will be at 11 o'clock in the morning at Emmaus Christian Church near Lafayette Square Mall. Indy 10 Black Lives Matter is planning a march for justice following the conference.
Turning now to the ongoing 2020 elections. State lawmakers are responding to election problems uncovered by WRTV Investigates right here in Indiana. Senator J.D. Ford says Indiana's election laws need a makeover. Ford is a member of the Senate Elections Committee. We shared with him our findings following the 2020 election. Some voters told us they never received an absentee ballot in the mail, while others were giving conflicting information on whether they could change to early in-person voting if they had already requested an absentee ballot. WRTV Investigates found that those answers depend on the county.
I'm deeply concerned about that. If you are a voter in one county that's allowing it to happen and you're a voter in another county that's not allowing it, you're like, well, why is the process different? Well, I mean, it doesn't seem fair. And so I think that's where we need to step in and provide that clarification.
Ford is proposing an election modernization bill that would also extend hours at polling locations, allow ballot receptacles around the community, allow no excuse absentee voting, create a process for ballots to be tracked much like you track a package, and allow for vote counting to start the day before the election.
Meanwhile, lawmakers will return to the State House next week for the first time since the coronavirus pandemic began. The legislators' organizational day is set for Tuesday. Org Day is the ceremonial start of the session where lawmakers are sworn in for the year and roll call is taken. The coronavirus and financial impact of the pandemic is likely to dominate conversation. And though Governor Holcomb's mask mandate is still in effect, the Republican-dominated legislature voted against a mask-wearing policy during the session. The 2021 session will officially begin in January. President Trump is still fighting the election results, suing multiple states for allegedly allowing voter fraud.
But this morning, national, state, and private election officials are contradicting those statements. The Department of Homeland Security says the 2020 election was, quote, the most secure in American history, end quote. In a statement, the DHS said, quote, there is no evidence that any voting system deleted or lost votes, changed votes, or was in any way compromised, end quote.
Can have faith at the end of the day that their vote counted the way they intended and that the overall result is the actual result.
Chris Krebs, the head of the Department of Homeland Security's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, is urging U.S. voters to believe the nation's voting system.
The time now is 4:46. After dumping heavy rain on Florida and the Carolinas, Tropical Storm Ada is expected to leave land and head to sea today. So far, 1 death in Florida has been linked to the storm, and water rescues and road closures have been necessary in South Carolina. Although Ada has not been the strongest storm this hurricane season, its wind and rain has impacted millions with flash flooding and power outages. Let's get a check of your forecast here closer to home with meteorologist Kyle Mounts.
And good morning to you. Yeah, we are dealing with some cooler temperatures this morning. We've got numbers that are starting off in the upper 30s to lower 40s. So it's cooler than where we were earlier in the week, but actually a little improved over yesterday morning. Right now, 42 in Shelbyville and Muncie. Got just a little bit of light rain here around Logansport and also moving through Miami County. That will quickly exit the area for us. The rest of us will be dry here. And you can see on TrueCast any of those light remaining showers are out of here. Mostly mostly sunny skies will do it here for much of our Friday as an area of high pressure is going to be moving in. It will present a little bit of a breezy condition here as we go through the afternoon. Northwest winds around 10 miles per hour. There's just a few of those clouds. 43 degrees for us at 10 a.m. As we go into the early afternoon, though, we are only going to get in the 40s. So while it's starting a little bit warmer this morning, it's going to be a little cooler for the finish of the day. You'll still make it to around 52 in Bloomington, but just 48 in Indianapolis, 44 in Lafayette today, and 49 in the Muncie area. If you're going to be heading out for some of those high school football games this evening, layer up. Fortunately, the wind drops off to around 5 miles per hour, but look at these temperatures. We're at 38 there at 8 o'clock, already to 34 by 10 o'clock this evening. Looking at the weekend on Saturday, going to notice an increase in the cloud cover. Dry start to the day. Temperatures middle 40s at noon. As we go into the afternoon, again, we'll be in the 40s. I think eventually it'll be a late day high that will get us into the lower 50s, but you also notice with those clouds eventually leading to some shower chances. And here's TrueCast. Middle of the day on Saturday, more cloud cover. We'll start to bring in a few light scattered showers as we go into the afternoon, and especially Saturday night into very early Sunday morning. We'll have periods of rain, possibly a couple rumbles of thunder out there for us, but this should be pretty quick moving. By about 5 o'clock in the morning, this run is showing most of the rain in portions of Ohio. We may see a few of those showers lingering into the early morning hours across the eastern portion of the state. But it looks like about a third, possibly a half inch of rainfall coming our way here for the upcoming weekend. Mentioned it's going to be breezy. Here's a look at those south winds on Saturday, around 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts. But as we go into Saturday night, we'll see those increasing. Could see some wind gusts topping 40 miles per hour on occasion, and it will stay windy here as we go through much of our Sunday before they start to drop off a little bit into the afternoon. As we check out that 7-day planning forecast for you, we got temperatures that will get a little bit warmer by the time we get toward the middle of next week, a high of 60 degrees on Thursday.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much. Let's get a look at traffic as you're heading out the door this morning. Here is a live look right now from our traffic camera at I-465 and East 56th Street. You can see up here on the northeast side, traffic is moving along up to speed this morning. No major delays or issues to slow you down around the metro area, so that is great news. Let's take a look at our traffic now map as you're heading on I-65 all the way down here in Bartholomew County. So you can see south of 252 in Edinburgh, near the Columbus area. We do have this issue here, and you can see the orange sort of on the northbound lanes, it looks like, of our map. Just be aware of that as you're traveling out the door this morning, especially where you're approaching US 31. So we'll continue to monitor this issue and keep you updated throughout the morning. Nicole?
The Ivy League has canceled winter sports for the 2020-21 season. The conference made the announcement on Thursday. The Ivy League also postponed spring sports until at least the end of February. It's the first conference to do so as coronavirus cases across the country begin to spike again. The Council of Presidents says there will be no competition for fall sports during the spring semester. The Ivy League was the first conference to cancel its men's and women's conferences tournaments back in March. So far, no other conference has made an announcement about their plans for the spring.
At 4:50, Disneyland will likely stay closed well into next year. Disney CEO Bob Chapek says that he's, quote, extremely disappointed by California's guidelines that have kept the park shut down. Under those guidelines, Orange County, where the park is located, needs to move through the state's orange tier and reach the yellow tier before even a limited reopening would be allowed. Meanwhile, Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, reopened back in July at 25% capacity. It's now operating at 35% with social distancing guidelines and other protocols in place. And 2020 has been a year filled with stress, hardships, and anxiety. Coming up, why today is the perfect day to go out and try and make someone smile.
One of the first patients to be treated with Eli Lilly's new COVID-19 antibody treatment is right here in Indiana. Coming up at 5 o'clock, he's sharing his experience so far. It's 4:51. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It is 4:55 on your Friday. We could all use a little extra kindness right now. So today, take some time, make that happen, because it is World Kindness Day.
The idea is to make a point to do something nice for someone, and your random act of kindness could spark a chain reaction and be amplified. People who have had kindness shown to them are more likely to show it to others, so pay it forward and look for opportunities to make someone's day a little brighter. You never know how it will come back to you. All right, guys, we got to get to thinking.
I know.
What's our plan?
I mean, just you guys being here and waking up early and helping me out, that's kind.
How nice.
That's kind. On like 4
So I
hours
didn't have to be by
sleep.
myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
We love you.
We got to get this weekend off started right, don't we? Well,
Right.
Maybe head out there today. We've got at least some sunshine, even though it is going to be cool. Our temperature will only make it to 48 this afternoon. A little warmer on Saturday, but the trade-off, we're going to have some breezy conditions, clouds, and some showers developing as we go into the afternoon and evening. For our Sunday, rain should be out of here pretty early in the day, but it is going to be windy occasionally, wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour. As we look ahead here toward the end of the month and even in toward Thanksgiving, you can see that we are talking about above average temperatures. The average, though, that continues to get a little bit cooler. We go from highs in the upper 40s to about 46 and close to average lows in the 20s. But we may not be done with the 60s in our forecast just yet. We'll take a look at the next 7 days. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on WRTV.